So I said to Mosik that Bobby Joe Champion now started playing games, manipulating my file with Keenan, starting when I think it was 2014, when I called Renee because my checks was missing. And I called Crystal Graves and I'm asking Crystal, is she processing checks as she's supposed to? And she's telling me, yeah, but yet I wasn't getting them. So this particular day I needed to borrow some money. So I called my sister up and she changed the meeting spot twice. And when we ended up meeting at the Burger King off Laurie, we seen Keenan's mom, who we hadn't seen since 2010's adoption. So it was now 2014, so Keenan hadn't seen Teresa in 4 years. And I said that's when Bobby Joe Champion started manipulating the case file line on Norris. And on 12/16, he illegally used your stamp and had Rochelle Stratton take Keenan, which gave him and Kim, through Keith, access to my son Michael's IEP. Under theory, once they took Keenan, they had the right to take any child thereafter. They got Michael on the cusp of 17, 18. And I said that's when they then began to manipulate the paperwork, like I was homeless and little Michael needed, a guardian, but Michael turned 18. So then they started playing the game with my mom and Jeanette, where Bobby Joe Champion, I felt, was now manipulating Jeanette and Mildred, who now, based on, again, going through our criminal file, using people within the community, Bobby Joe Champion was now blackmailing people because he needed that money. I said that under Keith, Barak, we might have got 17.6 million through Judge Thunheim. I said this after the fact. Not when I wrote that complaint to Michael Gans. When I wrote the complaint to Michael Gans, I wasn't accusing them at that time of stealing 17.6. After the complaint about Judge Thunheim, and I thought they stole that 17.6, I thought they stole that 250,000 from Joshua R. Williams through Barb Johnson, Don Samuels, Bobby Joe Champion, Keith. I thought that's when now I needed these people looked at. And then I started to try and get them, which in 2016, 2017, they retired, took new positions where people like Ilhan Omar, mind you, she came through Mary Moriarty, I thought, and said that you're not getting your teeth. Try it. And that's because Bobby and Ilhan, going back to my page, was now using Keith, stalking my cases in the court, were Jim. Yeah, I go all the way back, Jim Long, because you said I should have went to college to be an attorney. And later I said, I don't know if he was being sarcastic or if it was based on all those tests you got. Plus, you could have gotten records from my father and my mother at that time showing that I should have never been held back, right? And I could have been due funds because my dad knew that he took me to Detroit and I went to summer school there. And because I went to summer school there, I had to make up all them credits, which is what Miss Creasy and Miss Black used to say that I was like Nene and Lori and Catrice. See, we were a group of girls that hung together at that time, and she wanted to get rid of us. So since all of them were pregnant and they were all leaving, she said, Sharon, you flunked and you're not going to be a junior next year, so you should just go where your friends go. So then where's my friends going? They were going to PYC. Not WOC, not TCOIC. They were all going to PYC. And when I went there, nobody ever said that I could go back. I just stayed at PYC. Like I said, I had 5 classes. Jim said I was done pretty much with a lot of this, a lot of that. So I was kind of like an easy breezy student at that point because I should have never been held back. And that's why I said Jim Long sued for me when I went into technical school based on my law scores, Keith. Based on my law scores, Kim. Based on my law scores, Linda Baker, where again, I'm so educated, bitch, that they just felt like, we should stop Sharon in. And that kind of hindered who I am. And now I feel very discriminated against. Like I said, because in theory of Martin Luther King, I've got Missy, whose last name I don't know, from Scott Lewis School of Cosmetology. She was going to marry some dude by the name of Greg. And Greg told her she had to stop being my friend because she was sounding like me, and he didn't realize I'm now sounding white to people, and she's sounding black because we hung together. We were the outcasts, but kind of brought in at that time, because now we're being invited to the parties and stuff with the girls and stuff. They took my eyebrow off. Them bitches didn't like me. I was too smart for my own good. I was making good grades, so then they closed Scott Lewis after I thought Jim Long sued and got an education grant for me. And he said, Sharon, whenever you go to college, this is what you can get. But had I went to college to become an attorney seeking my records, I probably could have found out Jim sued under the Lutheran Brotherhood and had an education fund for me. When he got sick and then Ann Long took over, Ann Long at that point could have just destroyed my records because she went into a deal with Kim Messin, Cindy Adsat, and Laura T. Booth. And I said that's where the destruction of my records came in. And Barack Obama came along and said, we're going to just discontinue Sharon. And now you have to get new records or you're not getting nothing. And the new records was trying to be based off of a lie through Bobby Joe Champion, where he said access from Keenan Cole Lynch Martin's kidnapping. Mind you, because Keenan shouldn't have been moved. I solicited the court to have that case transferred to the federal court, where at that time Judge Lung should have ordered somebody to pay Abdi Warsame, who took over for Cora McCorvey, pay them off, or even look into the bill, because they said Shayla didn't graduate, but yet she graduated. They said she graduated enough for them to take her credit, but then I couldn't prove she graduated, so then therefore the rent stood as it was, and then they evicted me because I refused to pay $800 a month. They tried to blackmail me and say that I had to pay flat rate lease under Claudia Sterling and Debbie Holtzleider through Bobby Joe Champion. He was manipulating cases at that moment. And I thought him and Joshua R. Williams was now doing deals on my behalf illegally. And I filed a complaint against Joshua. And then I filed a complaint against Amy Jane Getz. I solicited Judge Norris. And I said, I'm telling you, there's 3 politicians that are fucking with me. And that on June, whatever date it was, when they had me and Keenan now start staying at my mom's, they were using that juvenile diversion to lie through Barack Obama, where he hand-selected a couple of black kids that was due discrimination rights, that he stole the money for Michelle Obama. You rocking the vote, bitch.